We're back.
Back. It's been a couple of weeks. It's felt like a long time since we've.
That has really. How long's it been?
I think we were supposed to record last time on like Father's Day, which was like the 17th of June, I think. But we were both pretty busy, weren't we? Like, do you know what I mean? So it was kind of like we'll have a week off, and then that week off turned to another week off because I guess things are slowly getting back to normal, and we're just getting a bit busier.
Well, I think things are now. We're sort of coming to terms with a new normal, aren't we? That's what we're doing. Yeah, I've just been to the pub.
I know. How was that?
Which was it was all right. It was kind of like we went for breakfast this morning.
To a restaurant.
To a restaurant this morning, and they said the young lady, bless her, who was serving us, she was like, because it was like a buffet style thing, and she was saying you need to wait for us to come and get you to then go and queue up.
Oh, I thought buffets and that can't be a thing now.
Yeah, no, it was, but you don't get your own food. They sort it out for you.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense.
And the young lady, bless her, she said, if you'd like to just go and social distance over there. I was like, you mean queue? You mean stand in the queue? Like it's a bit bizarre, but that's the
2020 way of saying just fuck off over there in a minute, mate. Do the thing.
Yeah, get out of the way. Yeah.
To be honest though, I say that to because Phoebe, my eldest, winds Willow, my youngest, up something rotten. Like she just gets in the face and all that, and I'm like, Phoebe, you just need to social distance a little bit from Willow.
That way she might understand.
But yeah, go on. So is it all hunky dory then, the brekkie and that?
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, I mean the food wasn't great, but I mean we didn't really expect much. It was only in a little pub grubby place, but yeah, no, it was all right. It was kind of like, and bless them, the people who are working, they're working like twice as hard as they normally do. So yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a strange experience, but one that we're going to have to get used to.
It's going to be like this for a while, I guess, isn't it? Now that's the thing, isn't it? Like you say, the new normal. But the pub, how was the pub? Was that all right? I've not ventured.
The pub was all right. We ordered on the app, and you sort of stay away from people. But that first pint of
Emily.
Hello.
No, you're recording.
There we go.
You're not getting paid for that. You will be signing a release form, but you're not getting paid.
I saw her coming. And I was like, I'm not going to tell her. No, you're on the podcast.
Yeah, no, we sort of, you've got to order on the app and things, but yeah, it's a sign that things are sort of getting to a bit more normality, which is good. Yeah. But we purposely chose Sunday afternoon because we knew it'd be quiet, and
that's
like that first pint of beer, Andy.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like, because you know me, I said it to you earlier this week. Like, I'm still really nervous, really, about everything, and because I watch the news and that, and it's like, the government are saying, yeah, go and do this, and the scientists are saying, just give it a couple of weeks, guys. So, to me, I'm a bit nervous, but me and the missus had a chat the other day, and it was kind of like, look, like, we have kind of got to get back to some kind of normality. Do you know what I mean?
Your own sanity, otherwise your sanity will be more of a problem.
Mate, I'm honestly, we've had days where we've both just kind of lost it, I guess, and in terms of just like you just don't want to do anything. You just
yeah.
It's not fair on the kids as well, but we are still we are still social distancing. We don't mix with anyone really, other than out in the garden. We can have people in now, which is nice. So my mum and dad came around today, sat in the house, a distance from us. It was nice, a bit more normal. But yeah, I'm yet to go to the pub. I didn't want to go yesterday, being Saturday, because why would you? Like,
no, there was no way that
dog was out last night. But my local don't open till Wednesday, so depending on the weather, I might just pop in with my face mask on.
Yeah, go for
a pint and then go and stand outside. I'll feel better doing that.
Yeah, nice, man. You've got to try and get back to a bit of normality. But sorry to the listeners who listen every week who haven't had a podcast for the last couple of weeks. It's been a bit quiet, but as people might, people hopefully understand that we've had a lot going on in our personal lives and just sort of been really, really busy. As hard as it is to believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're back now. We've briefly we've got a couple more episodes, haven't we? And we've sort of decided between us that for the time being, we're going to take another break, just because it's so tough doing it all online. I think.
Yeah, and I think it's not, things are, like we say, things are slightly getting back to normal. Hopefully now, so we kind of want to end series 2 now, and then try and get back to series 3 when we can safely, and get out there and start meeting people, whether that be
as good as it is doing them online, it's so much better doing them face to face.
Yeah, and
I prefer it
100%, and I think the listeners will prefer that as well, because there is a different vibe, I guess. But yeah, today
we want to come back with series 3 away from the lockdown, and we want to come away from series 3 away from COVID-19.
Yeah,
and obviously COVID-19's been a huge thing for everyone at the moment around the world.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully with series 3 we can come back with some great guests, COVID free.
Yeah, and today's guest, just while we're on that COVID thing, we recorded with Oliver very early on, I think, in the lockdown. So I think it was kind of like lockdown when it was like, don't leave the house unless you're a nurse or a doctor or you work in a shop.
And Ollie's he was classed as a vulnerable person, so
he was shielding,
shielding. So he was very much in the house. So when we asked him to do the podcast, he was like, "Oh my God, something to do!
Give me something to do. Get out of the gulag."
Yeah, get out of the gulag. So for the people who aren't familiar with Ollie Coopersmith, I'd say most famous for Tin Star, which is available on Now TV, that I recently watched actually, which I thought was brilliant. Me and Charlotte through lockdown. And I worked with Ollie recently on another Sky One series, and just sort of become really, really good friends from the moment I met him. I met him in the gym at the hotel that we were staying at. So we had a workout together, and then he came around to me and said, "I fucking love Nando's," and I was like, "Oh my God, same!" So then we went for a cheeky Nando's, and then spent the next 7 months playing FIFA, eating Nando's, and going to the gym together and working. So
lovely.
We had a couple of nights out. You came out, didn't you? And
I came out.
Such a lovely bloke.
Remember nights out?
Yeah, remember them. They was fun, weren't
they? Sweet. So Oliver Coopersmith, and like we said, guys, this is our second to last episode, our penultimate episode. Again, after the chat, come back. We do a little chat. We do a little debrief, and I've also got a really great picture to show you. I'm going to get it up on here. Tomo doesn't know about this.
You haven't told me about this.
Basically, I did a quiz night the other night that Tomo was supposed to do and then couldn't in the end. And I've got a picture that I want to show you. So listen to Oliver Coopersmith. Come back after the chat. Honestly, you won't want to miss this. It is brilliant. Enjoy.
I've bought a new headset very similar to that for the Xbox as well. I'm not a gamer really. I was with Tomo, but we bought an Xbox when we was working together in Manchester because we thought on our days off we'd play some FIFA, and that's really sort of. I used to play it a little bit before, but that's the last. That wasn't that long ago. I've now got the headset. I'm playing probably 3 hours a day minimum.
Can you remember when we was in game, when you was buying it in Manchester? I was like, I think you should probably get a headset. He was like, nah, I'm all right. I don't think I will. How wrong was you?
I've just spent 60 quid, ordered it on Amazon. It's this big bastard headset. And you can hear the grasshoppers in the grass. It's mental, mate. It's so exciting.
Fell into the rabbit hole. You're a gamer now.
Yeah,
I know. I've fallen deep down a hole, mate.
Well, it gets you, doesn't it? On the first week of lockdown, like me and you, Ollie, we was up playing FIFA till 3-4 in the morning sometimes, weren't we? And I was getting to bed, and all I could see was green from the pitch, and in my head, I'm making runs with my pro on, be a pro on FIFA, whilst I'm trying to get to sleep. And I said to Charlotte, I was like, I'm going to have to stop for a bit. Like, I'm going to have.
Well, we did, didn't we? We stopped for like a few days, really. And that's when I traded it for, Warzone on Call of Duty. And now I've just got PTSD at night. So it's gone from playing football in my dreams to shooting people and running around and blowing shit up. It's not good. It's terrible.
Are
you playing the new Warzone?
Yeah, I'm giving that a go.
Make that free, eh? Like, what a time for them to bring that game out.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I can't imagine how many people are playing it. Millions and millions.
What do you reckon the users are? How many people do you reckon it is?
What?
How many people are using Warzone?
Well, think how many people got it on Xbox, and then you go, how many people PS4, how many people PC? And it's got to be hundreds of millions.
Well, now.
Which is great. A lot of my mates have got PS4, and I'm talking to them, in the daytime when I wouldn't normally, and seeing how they're getting on. It's weird how this time of isolation has weirdly brought people closer. It's a really weird, contradiction that, but it's nice. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, like me and my mates did like a quiz night the other night, and things like that. Like it's random. Like we've got a group chat because we were supposed to all be going on holiday in July. Don't know how that's looking now, but we're all just chatting in it every day, like giving each other little challenges, and
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? We did
things that are going on social media, like all the nominations, like that Run 5, Donate 5, and just like all the little things that are sort of like. In a way, I think I've enjoyed what isolation has done for social media. I think I finally see a bit of good on social media now, because we've chatted about it before on previous episodes, like how much I think social media is just it's just a rabbit hole. But I've seen the good in social media, I think, over isolation, and particularly because we've used it more, so we can. Well, I guess Xbox is a form of social media, isn't it?
I guess so, yeah. The sort of communication side of it, yeah, I would say it was. What ways do you think it's got better, Tomo? Because I use it a bit, but I'm not on it that much. I don't.
Yeah. I just think it's a friendlier environment, and people are now people are a bit more thoughtful in what they're writing. Do you know what I mean? And it's good to see that. Obviously, it's great that we all stand out at 8 p.m. on a Thursday night for Clap for the NHS, which I think. But also now you're starting to see that. Particularly on TikTok, I've noticed that I've started using recently, or like a lot of the key workers, like people who work in Asda and Tesco's, and people that are like normally get overlooked as a key worker. Do you know what I mean? But they're just as important at the minute, than anyone else. So and they're getting a lot of praise on social media, which is good. I just think it's a nicer environment at the minute.
Yeah, it's a funny thing, isn't it? Because I think social media carries so many messages. So whatever the thing is at the time in the world, it carries that message. And I think at the moment, the message that's being carried is unity. Everyone's coming together, and it's not just this country; it's every country in the world at the moment. Do you know what I mean? This whole kind of global community, because we're fighting this one cause. I don't think we've had a cause that common ever. Not in our lifetime. Definitely not.
Yeah, that's what helps me get through it sometimes. Because I get stressed out sometimes, and then you just kind of go, oh, it's not just me. Exactly like say if you're having relationship problems or anything like that, normally it's like you get down and you think you're alone and you get depressed and all that. Where now, if you get a bit down and a bit depressed with it, you kind of go, everyone else is the same. So
yeah,
it's kind of pushing me on a bit anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it is a weird time. Like there's no way that spending this much time indoors and self-isolating and being away from these people, we're such social creatures, aren't we, human beings? So it's definitely going to have an effect on us somehow. And you notice you become a bit more insular. You're sort of not talking as much, or you go outside and you feel a bit groggy because you've been indoors for too long, and it's just all a bit. Oh, my dad's calling me. Cheers, Dad.
Get him on the podcast. Get him in.
But yeah, it's got to be affecting us in some way. So just knowing that everyone's going through that, like you say, Andy, everyone's going through it, so we're all going to be in it together. Do you know what I mean? It's reassuring. It's kind of that rally the troops kind of thing. We're all in it together, and we're going to get through it together. But it is a weird time.
The one thing that worries me is, the atmosphere. Like, say when you're doing your shopping in Aldi or wherever it is that you do your shopping. Like the atmosphere that there is around when you're in this store and no one's quite sure what to do. Because you can't lean around someone and go, oh, can I just grab that? Or, you've got to wait, and then you stood waiting for these people to move, and then you're worried about the people behind. Like when I try not to go because I struggle a bit socially sometimes anyway. So in a time like this, when I'm in a supermarket, I'm always like, I'm in people's way. Am I doing the right thing? And that scares me because I'm thinking, will that go back to normal? And will it be normal when you're in the pub and if you hold the door for someone and they're walking right past you and, you're saving your mate twos on a fag or anything like that, just little things that are changing and you're constantly thinking about. You think, well, is that going to go back to normal? Do you know what I mean? Because you can't see it at the minute, can you?
You just want to let bags off your mates, don't you?
No, I've got loads at the minute, mate. That's the only thing that I panic by.
No, you're right though. I wonder what are changes that happen in this time that are going to stick, that are going to be permanent. Do you know what I mean? What are we going to, people going to start washing their hands more? Are people going to social distance as a rule going forward? Yeah. Also, when is this going to end? Because even if we come out of lockdown in 3 weeks' time, that doesn't mean the virus is gone. We're still going to be dealing with what that's going to be. It's a mad time. So we just got to enjoy it as much as we can.
But you're keeping well though, aren't you? You're sort of keeping busy.
Yeah, I've not been to the shops like you, Tom. I've got one of those letters from the NHS because I take a medication for Crohn's disease, which is like an immunosuppressant. So my immune system's quite suppressed anyway. So I think you become vulnerable if you get something, not quite sure how your immune system's going to cope with it. So there's a letter from the NHS saying stay indoors for 12 weeks. So I've not been to the shop.
It's hard for you because obviously when we work together, I'm glad that I met you because you're really similar to me, which we found in so many ways that just sitting around doing nothing kind of like freaks me out a little bit. Like we'd just go for a walk around Manchester at night or something just because we didn't, because we was bored or whatever. But it's just all right at home.
Yeah, do you know what? It's lovely where I am. I'm in the countryside at my mum and dad's. It's beautiful. I've got my mum, dad, my little sister, and her boyfriend Daryl. So there's 5 of us. We're all in the same. And I've got loads of dogs and stuff.
And you've got Warzone, so
well, that's the main thing. That's what comes before family. Is definitely gaming. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Verdansk family. Yeah.
Love the way you know what the map's called. You're a big geek. I love it.
Oh yeah, mate. The gulag is getting thrown around left, right, and centre. I see it everywhere.
I saw a really funny video on TikTok of all places of a young kid who's recording his mum. He's just got it at the floor, but he's recording and he goes, "Mum, I'm just going to the gulag with the lads," and his mum's like, "You are not. You are not. What's the gulag?" She was like, "It's just this place where you go and throw rocks. It's fine. Like, don't worry, Mum." And the mum's like, "Well, how many people are going to be there?" He's like, "Well, sometimes there's 10, sometimes there's 3. She was like, "You are not leaving the
house." My girlfriend, Kath, by the way, sends her love, Andy.
Oh, nice one, man.
Yeah, she's good. She's all right. She's in Liverpool at the moment, so we can't be together because of this whole isolation thing, which is really hard. Finding that side of it difficult. But every time we FaceTime and it starts to sort of the conversation, will die down, she'll go, "Are you going to the gulag?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, see you later, I'm off." So she knows now. She knows. It's terrible. I need to sort my life out.
No, it's all right. Though that's the thing. It's guilt-free time where you can just do what you want. But I think it is also important for people, if anyone is listening, who like even if you can just get out and walk for 20 minutes, or if you can go in the garden and do some press-ups. I've noticed that helps me so much. Me and Charlotte have been cycling a lot. Just going out and just doing a couple of miles on the bike and getting back and just feeling like you've done something with your day. I think that helps.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah,
it does make a huge difference. You got to get out. And Andy, you got 2 kids, didn't you?
Yeah.
How's it been with them, mate? How are they finding it?
It's all right. I mean, my eldest is 5, so we're doing like homeschooling and stuff with her, and she's all right with it. She's very she's like a sponge. She takes everything in. So there was an advert on TV the other day, like the government advert, and it's saying like every time you wash your hands, you're saving lives, and now she's got that in her head now. So
right.
She's like, "Daddy, I'm saving lives." I'm like, "Yeah," and I don't think she quite gets what that
right.
So she's, and then my youngest, it's hard because she's 11.
Started walking.
She's just started walking the past couple of weeks. She's
wow.
into everything. She's a bit of a chewer. It's like having a puppy. She just wants to chew everything. But yeah, and my missus is still working, so kind of
I've got them sort of 50% of the time, which is hard, but I'm also loving it. So it's one, because we've said this before, like, you know, I was working away for a little while before this happened, so I missed it crazy. So it's kind of nice now to spend as much time in there. It's a nice time, really, because obviously me and Ollie have just finished this job that we was doing. We was in Manchester for 7.5 months or something, weren't we? And if someone said to me at the beginning of this job, do you want 6 weeks at home with Charlotte, just you and her to just chill? And I'd be like, well, yeah. Obviously I'd love it in different circumstances, but I'm sort of like, I'm very fortunate in the sense that I've found the good in the awful situation, and you know, whether it be a selfish way of looking at it, but I guess for people's mentality, you've got to find the positives in the bad things, haven't you? So I guess
and there's that thing of people always say, if I had more time, I'd do this, or if I had more time, I'd go to the gym more, I'd do that, and I'd exercise more. And actually, we haven't got that excuse anymore. We've got the time. That's staring you in the face. So you go, well, let's do the things that.
My garden is spotless. Never saw. Honestly, I'm finding parts of the garden that I didn't know existed. Yeah, it's really, really good.
See, that's
good thing, mate.
Go on.
So I was just going to say, we was just going to move on to the subjects. Ollie, you changed your subject quite last minute, didn't you? But
I was thinking about it hard.
Yeah, but in a way that when you did, you sent me it. It was really late last night, wasn't it? And I kind of like, as soon as I got it and your name popped up, I was like, oh my God, please say he's still doing it. And then it come up, and when I read the subject, I was a big fan of your last one, which we could probably touch on anyway. But when you changed it, I was buzzing because I think it's such a great subject.
Yeah. Well,
talk us through it.
It is massively overrated, I think. And my subject is This Is England. This Is England and podcast. Two, they're just so overrated. You know what I mean?
Do you know what I was thinking? BAFTAs.
Yeah, there you go. Overrated, don't they? The BAFTAs. They're just
yeah, they are. Yeah.
I was thinking about it last night, and I was thinking about how they sort of basically reviews, whether it be for theatre, whether it be for TV or film, just that sort of concept of a review and what dictates whether something is a good show or whether something is a good film. Now, sort of, because there's so much content out there, we've got to sort of cipher through and filter through. People turn to, like, whether it's 3 stars or 5 stars or whatever. And I just think it's sort of a bit of it's just massively overrated, because how does you know, Nigel from The Guardian giving something a 3-star mean that I'm not going to go to a show? Because there could be something in it that I'm going to love. There could be a theme or a character that that you just sort of really connects with you, and that review might stop you from going.
Well, it's like
that's from an audience perspective. What?
Reviews are quite a personal thing, because everyone's tastes are different.
Yeah, it's just an opinion, isn't it, really? And I think that from an audience perspective, it can, you know, guide you to what you go to see. So they have a lot of control in that sense. But also, when you're in something and you read those reviews, that has such a huge effect on you. Yeah. And I'm sure they don't realise that, because you put yourself in that position. You know you're going to get reviews. You've kind of got to be open to whatever you're going to receive. But if you are in a show that hasn't got good reviews and you have to keep on doing that show, that's a horrible feeling. I've been on stage where, and also that's another thing. The reviews come down to one night in the theatre. You do a press night, and that's it. That's when most of the press come. So you've got a nail on that one night.
Yeah, it's normally at the very beginning of the run, right, as well, isn't it? So
you get about a week's previews, if that, maybe 3 or 4 previews, and then you've got to smash it on this night so that you get good reviews, so that we sell out the rest of the show, and then we can maybe get a transfer to the West End. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's so much pressure on that one show, and every show's different, and it changes all the time, so it just becomes a bit of a pressure cooker, and it's scary, mate. And then if those reviews come in bad, you've got to carry on doing the 6-week run, and you go on stage every night going, oh, Nigel from The Guardian said I don't shit in there. Do you know what I mean? It's just a bit like, it's just scary and horrible. But then also you could go out, and the reviews are amazing, and if you read them, that's probably going to go to your head. You might start tweaking things. If they've mentioned a certain part, you might then ramp that part up and whatever. It's just, it can get to your head a little bit. So I just think I tend to sort of try and stay away from them now.
Yeah. Well, it's an open opinion, isn't it? It's just, I guess it's just one man's opinion. And it's like whether Nigel from. I love that we've got Nigel from the Guardian. There's going to be a
Trying to feed his kids.
Yeah, it's just a guy called Nigel at the Guardian going, I haven't even fucking done anything. Just 3 guys on his podcast.
I never wanted to be a critic. I wanted to be an actor.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like it's a personal thing, I guess, because if I came and watched one of your shows, at the Donmar or whatever in London, look at me, I know my theatre's down. I know. If I came and watched a show at the Donmar and Nigel from the Guardian came and watched it, I would be watching it in a very different way that he'd be watching it. So therefore, the reviews would be totally different. And if someone then went and read Nigel's as opposed to reading mine, it can really damage the thing. And I guess it's like the theatre company and the actors and everybody involved in the production. Like, is their aim to just impress that for that one night? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. And I think as well now, because of you touched on it, on my social media, I think everyone's a critic now, because you can review something in 180 characters online and everyone can see it.
Yeah.
So that then becomes an extension of that kind of, critique culture. And then you end up, if you get caught in that and you start reading everything that someone's saying about you or your performance, it's a slippery slope, because we've got that weird, I think all actors are the same. I'm sure it's the same in other industries, but we all feel like it's like that imposter syndrome. We all feel like we're really lucky to be doing this job, and that we're going to get found out at any moment. And that we're really lucky. So when we see, 100 people could say something about your performance that is really positive, and then one person says something negative, and that feeds that imposter syndrome. They go, yeah, they're right. I am a fraud. I am shit. They figured me out. And it feeds that sort of, we sort of cling to the negative as people.
It's funny because Eleanor Tomlinson, Elle, came on a couple of weeks ago, and she said that she can get 100 good comments, but one bad comment on an Instagram post or something can really...
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, but go on. Sorry, mate. I didn't mean to...
No. It's exactly what I was saying. It is really sort of... I don't quite know why that is about us as people. But for some reason, we cling to the negative more. We reject compliments. I think that's sort of British culture. We're not very good at getting compliments. Someone says something good about you, kind of get a little bit, God, you don't know what to do. Yeah, really strange. But then if someone says you're a bit of a wanker, you go, yeah, I am. You're right.
Yeah. Because, if you go over to the States or somewhere like that, if you say to someone like, oh, I really enjoyed that, you were really good in that, 9 out of 10 times they'll go, thank you. Where over here, we don't, we're like, oh, no, I tried.
I know, exactly. And we go, no, it was the way you were watching it. You were watching it well. What the fuck? It's weird. We need to be better at that. We need to be better at, honing into the positive and what people have got to say. Because they wouldn't be saying it if they didn't mean it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to sort of listen to it. Obviously, don't let them blow smoke up your ass. But definitely reject the kind of negative and focus on what matters.
Effect on an actor's performance, particularly with theatre, which I know you've done a lot of it, haven't you, Ollie? Have you ever done any theatre, Andy? Done a bit, haven't you?
I did a play about
Edinburgh.
So yeah, I did Edinburgh, and we did a tour and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's
more kind of like you say. It's weird, isn't it, Ollie? Like, because you get the reviews and stuff, especially in somewhere like Edinburgh, you've got like magazines coming out or whatever every week, just reviewing everything, and you're kind of constantly looking at them. And I guess now, like, that's the same when I don't know about you guys, but when something's on TV that we've done, do you find yourself like sort of looking at Twitter and stuff like that as it's on?
Yeah, do you know what? I definitely I have done in the past. I wouldn't say I do it so much anymore. But yeah, there is a real temptation to do it because it's on your phone. Do you know what I mean? It's right there. I can just get up and write what someone's saying about me. Do you know what I mean? And it's so tempting to look and see whether you've, it's that need for approval that we've all got, where we want to see if the show that we're in successful, or whether we've hit the right note here or right there. But the thing is that's not an accurate marker of that, I don't think. Just because someone's talking about it online,
that's kind of caring about your craft as well, though, because you're caring about what people are saying. The members of the public, particularly like what you've just been saying, Ollie. All the time we feel like we've cheated our way there or whatever, or we're going to get caught. I guess that's the sort of we really care about what we're doing and we're really grateful, but also we're very grounded. So how I see that is if I know that, you know, Danny, who lives on the Non-Stop estate round the corner, if I know that he's tweeting about it and he loves it, I think that's kind of like a bit of an approval for me as someone who's been brought up in the same circumstances as that. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of you're looking for approval from the people who aren't actors and who believe in what you're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
The thing is like you say, you know, Ollie, like I think you hit the nail on the head before with the kind of imposter syndrome. I think every actor has that a little bit because we do something
that's the gratefulness.
We love our job. Yeah, exactly. But also, you know, as much as most actors will be like, oh no, I don't really care what people think. It's like that's our job. Our job is to entertain. We want to watch it and go, that was good. That we don't want people to watch it and go, oh, they were all right. We want you know that they're a good actor because do you know what I mean? If we were building someone a conservatory, if we were a builder or something, and we threw up a dodgy conservatory, you'd be like, oh, you know, didn't do a good job there. So it's the same. Job, isn't it? I think obviously a lot of people would be like, oh no, I don't really care because it's that kind of British thing again. Like I'm not bothered if people think I'm bad or good or whatever. It's like
a bad advisor, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If you go to if you've got a hotel and it gets a bad review on TripAdvisor, it's like, you know, that can really affect people going, like the same as if, you know, Nigel from The Guardian does a bad review on your play. It's sort of like, it's that, and I don't know, it's kind of like, it's kind of like rating what you're doing in a way. And it's like, do you find that you get more satisfaction, Ollie, from your close friends or family enjoying and appreciating your work, or more from a review? So it's I'm watching Tin Star at the minute, which Ollie's in, on Sky Atlantic. It's Sky Atlantic, isn't it?
Sky Atlantic.
So I'm watching that, which I'm loving. Like I'm obsessed with it at the minute. And I was texting Ollie last night saying how good it was. So would that mean more to you than reading a good review, or would you rather have a good review than your mate say that you love it?
No, I'd rather my mates say, definitely, because they're people that. I think the thing is people that know you and know you well. If they see you playing a character and still believe that, that means that you've done a good job. Because I find if there's an actor that I've never met and I don't know them personally at all, I find it a lot easier to believe their performance. And then if I know them and know them well, and I see their performance and I go, holy shit, they're brilliant.
A bit like working with me to Galactic. A bit like
this is it. Well, I wasn't going to say it, Tom, but yes, you hit the nail on the head, mate. But it's true. If you see someone that you know very well, and you see them become somebody else, you're like, that's a real transformation. And it's totally believable. And that's what I find the most rewarding about watching somebody else. You know, someone that you know. So I think if I've got mates and they watch me, they go, oh yeah, you were good in that bit where you was doing that, you know, that weird creepy stuff. That was really cool. I like that. Then, you know, I don't know why my mates have all become stupid all the time. I definitely think friends and family is more satisfying when they like something. Do you guys watch the things that you've been in? Do you watch it back?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I do too.
I don't particularly enjoy my bits though. I was watching myself. I can't, because it's like I'm always giving myself criticism, and I'm like, oh, maybe I could have done this or could have done that, and it's like I almost pick apart my own performance. Where what I do like to do is, particularly with things like a series, or like say when we do Intergalactic, like because most of our stuff's together in Andy, or when we do This Is England, you know, there was a lot in 90 where me and Andy Ellis wasn't together. It's nice to, because you read the script and you know what's going on, but you get so into the bits that you're doing, you sort of switch off from the rest of it. So when it comes on telly and you're watching it and you're like, oh, I totally forgot that Andy's doing this with Chanel, and you know you've got so and so doing this, and whole different storylines going on alongside what you're doing that you forget about. And it's you sort of, as you read it, you can never really fully visualize how they're going to do it. So it's kind of a treat to watch it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've got the same for ours, Tomo, but more so because the job that me and Tomo just finished, is there's a lot of green screen, a lot of sci-fi stuff. So there's like 50% of the show, which it's just our imagination on the day looking at a lamp going, that's supposed to be a spaceship. Do you know what I mean? So we've had to imagine so much that will be a real entertaining thing to see, because you'll be like, oh, to see it filled in like that. So I think I'm definitely going to watch that. But there's also something like, I used to watch something like you said, Tomo, and critique myself a lot and be like, that was the thing I was focused on. It's the same thing as if you record your voice or you hear your answer machine. You're like, do I sound like that?
Yeah.
It's the same as if you watch yourself, you go, oh, that's what I was doing inside. It was a lot better. So I used to be quite like transfixed on watching me. But then once you sort of got over that, I think Tin Star was the first time I sort of got over that and then just watched the the show for what it was. You then start to have your own opinion about whether you think that was a good show. And because you've seen that process behind the scenes, you go, okay, I would have done that differently second time round. Or, okay, if you give too much at that point, it means that story is out of sync here and there. So you start to become a lot more aware of the story and the arc of your character's story. And that's when I think the craft comes in, is because really it's about telling a story over a period of time. And I think in television we can do that a lot more now, because we've got 10 episodes to tell a story. That now the craft is coming through, and it's enjoyable, mate. And it sounds like a massive cliche, but you just never stop learning, do you? You just learn so much. Every job you start, you learn something new. And
we were saying this on set, weren't we? Because we was working together when The Irishman came out. And De Niro and Pacino said that when they went onto set and there was all these cameras and there was all these special effects to make them look younger, they turned around and, like, I think De Niro said to Al Pacino, like, what the fuck's going on, mate? Like, I've no idea what that's doing, and I don't know what that guy's doing. And that's like Pacino and De Niro saying, I don't know what's going on. So it's like, I love that exciting thing.
That voice as well.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. Like,
what did you say?
I said, I can imagine De Niro saying it in that.
Just sitting around, what the fuck's going on here, pal?
Because I guess that's the thing, though, because as an actor, our job hasn't ever changed from the days of, Greek tragedies and Shakespeare. An actor's job is exactly the same now as it was then. It's everything else around it. It's the cameras, the crew, everything else that kind of changes. We just stand where we're told to stand, say what we're told to say, and hope that people buy it.
Don't be a dickhead.
But I remember, when was it? The other day, me and you, Tomo, were recording an intro for someone, and then I stopped recording and I went, right, I'll just check it through. And someone was like, yeah, check the gate.
Yeah,
check the gate.
Do you remember people saying check the gate on film? Like,
I shot a graduation film fully on film last year, and it was so like, because we shot This Is England, the film, on film, so it was like, so that's how I entered the film world, was checking the gate and taking it to the dark room and doing all and sort of like, because I was always a kid that wanted to know what was going on, I wanted to know who was doing it, so I knew what was happening. And it was on this short film, this graduation film last year. It was the first time back from the start, 15 years ago, working with film, and it was like hearing him say, right, that's a good gate, we're moving on. It's like, wow, I've not heard that for years, a good gate, because now everything's shot digitally. There's no problem with it.
Full cards full.
Yeah,
new cards,
changing the card sort of thing. Yeah. So it's like that's quite exciting, but it just goes to show how much that we've come on, as how much the industry's coming on. But what's
the biggest change for you, Tomo, in terms of when you did that? You were what? How old were you when you did This Is England? The first
13, 14.
13 or 14. What's the biggest change, do you think, between being in the job now and being in the job when you
the one thing that really took me back is when we was doing Intergalactic, and we had to have a movement coach for things like you know about this, and I'm being brutally honest with this. We had to have like an intimacy, what they call intimacy
coordinator,
intimacy coordinator. But so basically, my character had to kiss another character, and I totally get, like I 100% get that. For me, the way I was brought into the film industry is if, when I was 14, I had to snog Rosamund Hanson. So it was just like, well, just do it. You know that it's not real. You just get on with it. Whereas when we did this new job, we had to have an intimacy coordinator, and we we had to practice the kissing and where our hands was going, and we had to do all these like warm-ups of going into a kiss. And it was like, and like I said, I totally wanted to, like, I respect it because
play with that, isn't it? Like
it's really funny.
It's annoying that now I guess there's someone else above, but then you kind of go, fair play, like this is something that's 100%.
Of course, like the environment.
But it made it a very staged kiss to me. That's when it made it feel like where you need it to feel. I think because of the way that I learn the craft and the way that I do my job is I really take myself to any situation that I'm in. You know, if it's a scene where, you know, where I'm emotional, I like to make myself emotional. And if it's a kiss, I like, you know, you just like to get into it, and it kind of made it feel a bit more staged. But again, I guess that's a big change for me in the way that the industry is progressing. Do you know?
That's a really good point. It's funny. The same thing. I had the same intimacy coordinator. And yeah, it does. I totally get, you know, the environment now. It totally requires it. It makes everyone feel more comfortable. I'm on board with it massively. It's just trying to avoid it feel like choreography. There was a lot of, you know, place your hand exactly here, place your hand exactly there. You move on this line, you move on that line. And each take is a bit more fluid than that. It's a little bit different every time. That's how you want it to be.
Yeah.
And it becomes a little bit rigid. However, I think part of the craft, you know, sometimes when we take ourselves and we make ourselves really in it, you know, for an emotional scene, you have to get emotional, whatever. There's something easier about that because you are feeling it at that time. Whereas with something that feels a bit more rigid, there's a bit more craft in trying to make it seem believable, even though you feel like it totally isn't.
Yeah.
So I guess that's just a different challenge and a different aspect of our job that I think we're going to have to get used to because of, you know, because it is the way around those sorts of.
Well, it's like we touched base. I guess that's we're improving our craft. We're learning more. You know, there was a lot that we had to do with the coordinate, with the stunt coordinators and things like that. And you know, I was being put onto wires and we was floating around and, you know, like firing guns, and there was so much that I'm learning on the job that
so good, man, so good.
It was genuinely like one of the.
Left. Just me. It's just me and you now. I've
me
kicked
and you, baby.
Podcast. Where's he going? Oh, shit.
We've lost him.
I'm adding him back in.
Did you? It looked like he was shocked as well. Did you notice his face? He went all shocked and then he just left.
Oh no! Maybe his powers died.
Maybe his
powers died. On his back and his powers died. Right. Okay. I'm gonna stop recording now, guys. We're gonna get Tomo back. And then, oh wait, he's joined.
Yeah, I've joined, but only on my phone, mate. I don't know why it's. I don't know why it's just kicked me off there.
Can you come on video?
I'm only on my phone, mate.
Yeah, so can you go? You can go on video still, can't you? You're not on a Nokia, are you?
No, but it'd be better if I'm on the Mac, won't it?
All right. Okay. Well, I'll. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, but that's on my phone. Does that matter?
I think it's fine.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
It's just as ugly, whether it's your phone or your Mac.
You haven't got that blurred background.
2020, and that's how I'm being treated. This is what I've got to put up with. My wife loves me, okay?
Yeah, that matters, mate.
So I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened.
Your back die?
No, it's still on. I don't know. It's just being stupid.
Ah, well.
Oh, well.
What were you saying, Tomo?
I was saying. I was saying, I guess that's how we've improving our craft every day. We're learning. Do you know what I mean? And I go back to what Ollie said. He's like, no matter how long you've been doing the job, and it might sound cliche, but it is exciting that we're constantly learning. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it's on about.
That's one thing as well about the job that I quite like is the hopeful opportunity. If you're not working, which we all know is difficult because you've got to keep yourself stimulated, you've got to find things to do. But there is always that hopeful opportunity that round the corner there might be a job where you get to meet a whole new bunch of people, you get to play a new character, you might get to go to a new country and film over there. It's the sort of the potential possibilities about this job which I think is is rare and unique to this job, because if you're working in an office or you're in a routine location job in terms of where you go to an office and you work there and you come home, you don't get that necessarily.
No.
I think we're really lucky in that sense, and that's
what
one
I
of the
was
things
going
that helps
to
you get through
ask you
time.
about. That's what I was going to ask you about. Tin Star is when I've been watching it, like the locations are actually incredible. Like obviously you filmed that in Canada. Whereabouts in Canada was it?
We were in Calgary, and we were there for 7 months in the end, I think. But we started in the summer, and they have the hottest summers. So you see all these mountains, and they're beautiful, and the lakes are all like, they're so blue. It's like a sort of greeny blue. It's just amazing. If you like the outdoors, then it's a beautiful place to be. And there's bears around, and there's like moose that you'll see on the side, and elk, and you're like, what the fuck? It's just a different world. But then when it becomes winter, and we were there for 7 months, we covered that. It's fucking cold. Yeah. Oh my God, it's cold. And you go outside and
colder than Manchester in December.
Yeah, colder than the gulag, mate. You know what I mean? It was like your fingertips start to hurt when you go outside, and your nose hairs freeze, and you're like, wow, my nose feels weird, and it all sort of like starts to. It's really weird. But it was a beautiful place, and I was so lucky to be there. And we saw some amazing stuff. Got to see a bear on the side of the road, just walking on the side as we were driving to work at like 6 a.m. You're like, oh, it was. I was so lucky to be out there. There is that thing, about missing family and friends, and being away for that long was difficult. And Andy, I was going to ask you about that, because having kids and having to work away, how do you balance that time away, then having the time with them and not missing out? How does that work for you?
See, the thing is, for me, it's hard, like you go away and you're away, you could be away for a couple of months on end. I've not done anything as long as that, I guess. I've not done anything like 7 months while I've had the little ones, but I've had jobs in there. I did a job last year while it was this time last year I was kind of shooting it, so my wife was ready to give birth. That was hard.
Yeah, that's true.
But you also, Emily was pregnant with Phoebe when we was doing This Is England 90.
Yeah, so anytime basically I want a job, I just get.
It's quite funny that she gets pregnant when you're away.
And I get a job. So
it's quite funny that she's always when you're away working, she's pregnant, isn't it? That's funny.
Yeah, it's true. But it is hard. It is tough. Being away from them and whatnot. But things like this are amazing, like FaceTime, Skype, and stuff. And the flip side of that is I get to spend so much time with them when I'm not working, which a lot of dads don't have. I've got mates that work, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and then they get to see the kids for a bit in the evening, maybe, and then at the weekends, do you know what I mean? And 9 times out of weekends they're tired, so they don't really do much with the kids. Where when I'm not working for months on end, I'm sort of the primary caregiver to my kids, which I love.
Exactly. It's kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, but like it balances out in the long run, I guess.
Yeah. Because I guess my kids get to spend a lot more time with me than kids do with other dads. But every now and again, I'll disappear for a month or two, and that's strange to them. But yes, I think things like FaceTime and things like that, it's not as strange. Like
it's a lifesaver. It's a godsend, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Like I couldn't imagine doing it, 20, 30 years ago when all you had maybe was a phone, or even longer ago when it was sort of letters and stuff. Like, could you imagine? Well, letters and pigeons. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine sort of going back to the virus now and how it's great that we're all kind of keeping in touch. I've often thought, like, 1918 when you had the Spanish flu or whatever, and you had World War One. Like, it's amazing that we've got all this technology basically now that we can.
We are very.
It is, yeah. So I wonder what effect this will have on the generation after us.
Yeah.
Because they've never not had this. They've always had it, and I wonder how that's going to affect them. Like, I know, Kath, my missus, her nieces are so they're brilliant with technology. They know how to FaceTime. They know how to, house party. They know how to do all these things. And I just wonder what's that gonna? I guess they're gonna be smarter in some ways than we ever could.
They've got instant access to any. You know what I mean? Like I do it now. If someone asks me a question,
you don't need to think anymore.
What's that?
You don't need to think anymore. You don't need to. If someone asks you a question, you don't need to think about it. You can just go. You can ask Siri, or I'm not going to say her name because she pipes up and starts saying loads of shit in the corner. But we all know what I'm on about, don't we? Yeah, that little Amazon dot thing.
Alexa,
shut up! Shut up!
Alexa, play Eye of the Tiger.
No, she's not hearing you, mate. No. She doesn't understand Essex, boys. I've programmed her.
This podcast now is listening to the Rocky theme tune, so brilliant.
Yeah. Alexa, show Tomo's internet history.
Jesus! No!
So, one of your other subjects, if we just move on to one of your other subjects, Tomo was like, I don't know about this one. But I was like, no, I want to have it out with Ollie. We need to have it out, put it on the table. What's your boggle with Cadbury's chocolate, man?
You know what, mate? It's just claggy. It's a bit
claggy.
It's claggy. It's like you have a little bit, and you need a bit of water to wash it down, or it's just not a great flavour to me.
Is that Cadbury? So the second subject,
Dairy milk.
Who don't know it is Cadbury's chocolate.
Yeah.
So not chocolate in general.
Not chocolate in general. Like, listen, I'll have a little bit of Galaxy. I'm not mad on chocolate. It's all right. I'll have a little bit of Galaxy, whatever, a Mars bar. I don't mind.
Is that not Cadbury's though?
No, Galaxy in it. That's what they're.
Yeah. Cadbury's is like dairy milk, fruit and nut. I think Curly Whirly at Cadbury. I think it is, isn't it?
I think I remember you buying loads of fruit and nut whilst we was in Manchester. Oliver Coopersmith.
Wasn't mine. It's my mate Ryan's. He left it in my fridge.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had a Cadbury's cream egg out of your fridge.
In the fridge? Do you not like it in the fridge, Andy?
Chocolate's meant to melt in your mouth, not break your teeth. Do you know what I mean?
Well, either way, really. Cadbury for me is just a bit overrated, a bit, bottom of the barrel for me, to be honest.
It's bottom of the barrel. What about that time when me and Charlotte had your room when you was away that night, and I helped myself to a Cadbury's cream egg?
Yeah,
out of your fridge.
It's in the fridge. It wasn't eaten, wasn't it? If I liked Cadbury's cream egg, it would be gone.
It'd have been a wrap.
True. True, yeah.
I got given it. It's in there.
What's top tier chocolate for you then? Galaxy or?
Yeah, I don't mind a bit of Galaxy. I like a toffee crisp.
I'm not quite sure what my favourite chocolate is.
Kath loves them as well. Yeah,
they're very good.
You can only have one. Don't you think?
Really?
Too sickly. Oh, don't you think?
Box or?
Yeah. These for the record. How do you pronounce it?
Lint. Yeah.
Or Lindor. They are the dog's danglers. They're the best ones for me.
They are really nice. I'd still like go for a Cadbury's over them. I think.
Really? See, I'm partial to a Terry chocolate orange.
Oh yeah.
Seasonal chocolate. That is a seasonal chocolate for me. It's very Christmas time.
Christmas. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I guess so. I only
sweet lads. What do you prefer, savoury or sweet?
Sweet, I think.
Really? I'm savoury through and through. I like a bit of toast and Marmite. Like that. I love that. You know what I mean? It's what I think breakfast actually. But...
Yes, I'm both. I'm a fat bloke. You know what I mean?
It's not either.
There you go. The elephant in the room's gone. Yeah, I'm. What am I, savoury or sweet? I guess I'm the same, really. I'm a bit like, depends what mood I'm in. I do like a bit of a chocolate. I've really picked up a sweet tooth during this isolation.
Yeah, Easter, the middle of it helped me one bit, man. Not helped one bit. Easter, because like I say, I've got two kids, and we kind of say to everyone, like, look, because we don't really give them a lot of chocolate and a lot of sweets. They can have it, but in moderation. So we kind of say to everyone, like, look, don't get them an egg. Like, if you want to get them something, get them a little, I don't know.
Get them an iPad or, something like that, an Xbox or.
But then, like, my mum will go, oh, well, I've got them a little egg, and then I've got them this. And then Emma, my wife's mum will go, well, I've got them a little egg, and then I've got them this. And then we get them a little egg because we're the parents. It's like, well, we've got, and then by the end of it, like 30 eggs off people, and it's like, we're eating them now. Because we don't.
Yeah, we've got chocolate all over the house. All over.
Same.
But normally I'm
done in it.
Sorry?
How are you finding exercise in lockdown? Are you have you got yourselves a routine? Are you getting out? Are you doing stuff?
I'm doing a lot more. I'm doing I've said this on the podcast a good couple of times. I'm doing is it Joe Wick's PE every morning?
Yeah.
He's raised £93 million.
Amazing, man.
That is insane.
Is it 90 million?
£93 million he's raised.
3,000.
Wow.
No, it was 93 million, I think.
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Gee.
Well, now you've made me want to question it, but
I'm pretty. Well, either way, it's amazing.
Checker. Shall I ask the gobby cow in the corner? And I don't mean Charlotte, I mean Alexa. I think she's unplugged.
£93, like, he's done amazing, hasn't he? But yeah, I mean, I found it. One thing I found again about it is like, I put a video up yesterday. So like me and my eldest, we've been doing the Joe Wicks and we've been exercising. And it's just normal in our house now. 9 o'clock in the morning. I've still got my gear on now. Like, we're up, we're ready, we're doing it.
Yeah. I'm off cycling. I'm in my gym gear after this. I'm off cycling after.
Normally at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, the school run's just happened, so I'm like making breakfast, I'm groggy, whatever.
Yeah.
Now we're up at 6 and we're fresh. But even my little 11-month-old Willow, if you say to her now, do a squat, she knows what a squat is. She does like a little thing, and it's like, that's brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't know what it was until lockdown. I thought it's where you live if you what is it, squat rights?
Yeah.
What about you, Ollie? You're still exercising a bit, aren't you?
Yeah, a bit. It's funny because normally if you get to go to a gym, it's like the effort of going from one place to another, and then you train and you come home. There's something about that. It's easily, the motivation is just easier to access. Whereas when you're here, that's what I'm finding is the biggest difference, is the motivation in the morning. It's because I know the day's going to be exactly the same. I'm probably going to go for a walk, or I'm going to go outside for a bit. I might, I'm trying to do a bit of writing at the moment, to come up with some ideas to keep me sort of creative and stimulated and whatever. But other than that, it's pretty samey. So you get up in the morning and it's just a bit like, to get out of bed sometimes becomes hard. Do you know what I mean? But the exercise does help with that, I suppose. I'm probably doing that 3 or 4 times a week, some sort of like, circuit or whatever, but that's all right.
So what are you doing, Ollie? Because are you going for walks and stuff? Because you can't.
Yeah. So as long as you're in your you're in your household.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm allowed to go out for walks with like my mum and dad and stuff. And if you encounter someone, you just got to basically sprint and run the other way. Just keep like 2.5 meters and whatever. They're the sort of rules I've been following. I'm not going to the shops. Yeah. Everyone else is sort of doing that for me. And that's pretty much it, mate. Yeah. I guess a bike ride's probably okay. I could go for a bike ride as long as I don't stop and see anyone.
Yeah.
But then there's also, I have to go for these monthly appointments at the hospital for an infusion. They sort of put a drug in your blood and it pumps around. You stay there for about 2 hours. So I have to go to a hospital in London. So I've got to get myself there. Yeah. No one's allowed to come with me. You're going into a hospital. So if you're going to get it anywhere, you're probably going to get it somewhere like that. So, it's a little bit, the rules are kind of inconsistent. And I think that's a lot about, like, a lot of people feel that way. They're not quite sure what rules apply to what and how we're interpreting them. And it's all a bit of a confusing time. But
it's very uncertain.
Yeah, really uncertain times. Yeah.
It's like no one really knows what.
It's new, innit? It's something like you say. No one not faced. The last time we faced something like this, it was 1918. Like say, a lot of people like were off fighting abroad, and so people were dying left, right, and centre. So like the governments didn't have to kind of think about it too much, Where now it's like, yeah, man, I wouldn't like to be in any kind of position of power.
Charlotte made a great point the other day. She said, how we learned about the plague and things like that in school. will the kids of tomorrow or in the next generation be learning about this and how to handle a pandemic in current times and what we're given nowadays? Will they learn about the COVID-19 outbreak?
Yeah, I
schools
wonder.
and things like that. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
One good thing about this, I guess, you say good thing, and that's, a term to use very loosely, because, thousands or hundreds of thousands of people have died of it. But is that it's actually, it's not as bad as it could have been, basically. So the infection rate of it is quite low, really. If you look at things like the plague and stuff like that, the infection rates were like through the roof, and it literally wiped out millions. Hopefully now what they're saying is, because this hasn't been, in the grand scale of things, too bad of this kind of thing, that hopefully we can learn from it, and actually if something ever happens a bit like this again, we'll be prepared for it, because we'll be like, right, it's that kind of thing, isn't it? Like, governments have known about this for years, known that things were bound to happen, but because it's not affected them, they don't have to worry about it. Now it's going to kick everyone into a recession. Governments are going to be kicked out and whatever. I think rich people will now worry about this, so we'll get money to kind of fund.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Like, I think the changes that will come from it, because we will get out to the other side of it. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to be difficult and there's going to be a lot of lives lost and it's going to be tragic, but we will get through the other side of it. The changes that will bring, the NHS is going to need so much more funding, and they're going to listen to them now, because they've got that to be like, well, we saved your lives basically when it mattered most. So that's a huge thing that they've got. I imagine the climate, just the pollution levels must have gone down massively. I don't know what the statistics are or whatever, but I live near Stansted, the airport, and there's no planes. I don't hear a plane, and the skies, I don't know if it's psychological but the skies seem clearer. There's more stars at night. It just seems a bit. It's probably just psychological, but it definitely feels like there could be things to come out of this period where we've all just stopped. That we go, okay, well, we can use that to further us as a
and it kind of kicked things into gear. Like, I was watching something yesterday, and it was Deborah Meaden, one of the dragons from Dragon. Obviously, huge sort of figure in the business world, and she was saying, like, she'd never believed in sort of virtual meetings, Skype and stuff like that. And she's like, I'm actually having more meetings now and genuinely getting more business done than I ever have done before, because I don't have to travel 2 or 3 hours to my next meeting. It's bam, done, bam, I can get it done. I think hopefully stuff like that, like, people realise that actually we can work from
I think
home.
a lot of people
and a lot of
be
industry
working from home. A lot more people will realise that they can work from home, so they haven't got to get in their company Range Rover that's fucking polluting the planet. Do you know what I mean? Or the barristers aren't driving to fucking work in the Audi Q7s. I mean, people can actually work from home, and it is doable. So hopefully, I think that's one of the main things that will come out of this is the pollution on the earth, and also the nation just coming out just nicer. I think just hopefully people can come out of it with a bit more respect for people, again, going back to people who work in shops and things like that, who have very much been on the front line, as much as anybody else, that get massively overlooked. So I think just as humans, we hopefully might come out just a bit nicer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Do you think there's going to be writing to come out of this that will, there's so many people that say, I want to write this, or I want to write something. And I've done the same. I've started writing just ideas and different things down, but using that time as much as I can. But I wonder if we're going to get like a load of BBC dramas, about a divorce or about, adultery. But the backdrop is in lockdown, in coronavirus, in that time.
Even just in general, I think you'll have people like great writers around the country. People like Jack Thorne and Shane Meadows and even Julie, who wrote
Julie Geary,
but people, all these great writers who were sort of sitting at home thinking, well, I've got weeks now. I can sit and jot this down and do. So hopefully they can go to people like the BBC and ITV, Channel 4 and Sky and go, right, well, I've just written this. What do you want to do with it?
I think a lot of things. I think we will be seeing films and drama. It's like World War II. You know, we're still seeing programs and films romanticizing it in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like we just had. What was the big one that came out? Was that World War One or World War?
1917.
Yeah, 1917. Yeah.
1917. Do you know what I mean? You know, I remember as a kid growing up watching Good Night, Sweetheart, Dad's Army. You know, things like that.
Yeah.
You know, because it is that thing. Like we're living through it now. You know, our children are, well, obviously my children because they're living through it. But you know, this is something that we'll tell our children, and our children will kind of have that going ahead. You know, we're making like little. We do it for like when they're born and stuff like that. Special occasions if we go on like a big holiday. We're going to do like a little memory box for the kids of this time, just because I think, like you said before, this is something that, you know, people are going to be learning about. I remember when I was in school and we had this gentleman come in who was a Holocaust survivor. And, you know, he was a really old bloke who was a kid during the Holocaust. And I think he was from Poland and, he'd been to them horrible, terrible places. And he came in and chatted to us and it was just something that stuck in our head. Not comparing this to that at all, in the situation of like our children will have kind of them stories to tell, you know, kids born 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
60 years from now, we'll be like, what? You all, how did you, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing like the whole.
You make a good point.
No, of course. No, I know what you're saying. I think it's just that thing of going, it's sort of like, and I remember watching Boris Johnson's broadcast when he was talking about the lockdown, when we first went into lockdown. It felt like you were a part of history.
Yeah.
With the timeline of going, like, feeling in the present that in the future people will be talking about this as like a big thing in the past. Do you know what I mean? It's like a weird like timeline shift. Felt really like profound to be watching it going, fuck, like this never happened before.
Yeah, it's like trying to, you know, I mean, again, another horrible thing that happened in the past, but like I remember watching the Twin Towers when I was a kid. I remember the news going, fucking hell.
Birthday, I remember it. Yeah. Weird.
And like now, it's like you try and sort of tell that to, you know, even like an 18-year-old who's probably a little kid then.
Yeah.
Like what? It's like in moments in history, I guess, that define the world changing, and this is probably the biggest one we'll ever see.
Definitely the biggest one we've seen so far. 100%. It's a crazy time. It's a crazy time. Now, lads, how do you feel about karaoke?
Another one.
Overrated.
Another one.
Another one.
Another one.
I'm
a huge fan. I love it. Especially when I'm on a holiday. If I'm on a holiday, I love it.
I can't stand it. There's never a good outcome. There's a weird sort of middle ground where you've got to sit. You can't be too good, and you definitely can't be awful. You've got to be sort of like, you've got to hold a tune, you've got to entertain. It's just, I just don't know that weird middle ground. It's exposing. I don't like it. There you go.
Are you a good singer? Would you say you're a good singer? No. See, I'm a terrible singer, but I do enjoy karaoke. And I owe karaoke to I owe my career to karaoke, I think, as well, weirdly.
Really?
Yeah, I remember being sort of 6 or 7, being on a family holiday, getting up and belting out I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly, because it was it from the film Space Jam, and getting an applause, and then just kind of going, and then, again, not the best artist to be singing now. I remember sort of hearing the applause and then going, oh, I like this. Quite like this.
Yeah.
Wanted to be a singer then. That's all I wanted to be. And then I got to about 10, 11, my voice broke, can't sing for shit. So then I was like, oh, actually. And then I went and did like drama classes and stuff like that because I kind of, as a kid, enjoyed that entertaining people.
The performance side of it, yeah. So, interesting. So karaoke was your... Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I owe it to karaoke and R. Kelly, weirdly.
Yeah, I mean, that's that's funny that I don't think would you ever do karaoke sober? Obviously not as a 7-year-old, but as an adult, would you do karaoke sober, Andy?
No, I don't think I would.
Ollie, you said no straight away, didn't you? You wouldn't.
I wouldn't, mate. You'd have to get me very, very pissed to do it anyway.
Is it because? What is it? Is it the performing side of it? Is it because you don't think you're a good singer? Because what if you did a film? What if you did a film where you had to sing?
Rehearse. Karaoke isn't rehearsed.
Maybe you should just have one song. You should have your karaoke song.
Interesting. So you're saying I should rehearse this lockdown? I could rehearse at home now.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Nail one song.
I've got a karaoke song.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got it in the bank. You've got it stored.
It's the one that I will. Well, I've got two. Yeah, I'll do every time.
30 times a night on his stag do.
My stag do. Yeah. Yeah, it was. But the thing is it was actually mine and my ex-girlfriend's song when we was kids. But I don't know. But I got roped into singing it by my best man. It was like I was sat there and he just next thing on the karaoke was like, Thomas, you're up next to come and sing. I was like, right, okay. So I went up and then they told me what song it was, and then I just really enjoyed doing it. And again, like Andy said, I got a good reaction from it. Like I remember it was in the Black Chicken in Benidorm, and I got a great reaction. And I was like, hey, do you know what? I think I've got this. I think I'm quite good at this. So
can we get its full name, please?
Sorry?
The world famous Black Chicken.
Is it called the world famous Black Chicken?
Black Chicken in Benidorm. Shout out.
Yeah. But yeah, again, when I first went up, I got that feeling. Yeah, put the link, swipe up. I got that feeling of everyone was buzzing with it. So I was like, I wanted to do it more and more. Do you know what I mean? So I guess it's kind of, as performers, Andy's right there.
Interesting. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's because I haven't got one in the bank that I can fall back on. That just the idea of it freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah. I think definitely because what I've done as well. Like I went to Ibiza on a work trip a couple of years ago, and we were out it was off season, so we were in like shit bars in Ibiza, and we ended up in a karaoke bar. And for some reason, I was like, oh, I really want to sing "California Love" by Tupac and Dr. Dre. So I went over to the DJ and I was like, "All right, mate, can I sing California Love?" And he was like, "Yeah, all right, mate, just give me a second." And I went, "Oh, I want to sing it in your accent." So I started singing California Love in like a really broad Yorkshire accent. And it did really well. So that's my new karaoke song now. I've forgot R. Kelly. It's all about California Love.
Oh, brilliant. I wish I could get up there and belt one out. Maybe that's like a New Year's resolution for me next year or something. Yeah. I'll work on a karaoke.
Maybe when we get a rap party for Intergalactic.
Don't start. We'll do karaoke. You'll rope me. I know what you're like. You'll rope me in. There'll be a few people going, "Go on, get up," and I won't be able to say no, and it'll terrify me. And I promise you, I'll have a panic attack.
You've thought about this a lot, haven't you?
Yeah, honestly, this is a real thing for me. So don't start anything, all right?
Well, I think on that note, before you anger anyone else with karaoke and bloody Cadbury's chocolate, man, I can't get down with that one. It's the one I've least agreed with on any ones that we've done, and we've and cups of tea or Cadbury's chocolate. Just do not mess with it, man. Thank you very much though for coming on, mate.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. It's been nice.
Yeah, nice one, mate. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, it's been really good fun. Appreciate it, lads.
Oh, thank you.
Well, let's get together when the lockdown's lifted and it's safe to do so, and we can have some fun and go on karaoke.
Yeah, I'd really love that, mate. That'd be great.
Nice one, mate.
Take care, lads.
Nice one. Cheers, Ollie. Bye, mate. Bye.
Look after yourself. Yeah, stay safe, boys. See ya.
How can you not like Cadbury's chocolate?
It's weird, isn't it? Like Cadbury's chocolate is top tier chocolate. Like I'm like, I love chocolate, and Cadbury's is the ultimate chocolate. Like if you get Easter eggs, every other Easter egg other than a Cadbury's Easter egg, it's just not nice.
I would say Lindt chocolate.
Lint's, yeah, but I don't know. Lint's a treaty chocolate, innit? Lint's like, don't go and get a bar of Lint in the shop, do
We
you?
only ever get Lint when we go to like a shopping outlet and we see like a Lint outlet store.
Yeah.
We can get loads of it, they're cheap, or when they're on offer, or Christmas time. But I think Lint's my favourite chocolate.
Yeah, maybe I jumped too far. No, Cadbury's, fuck it, Cadbury's still. I love it. It's just
But what you don't realise is Cadbury's probably make more chocolate than you realise.
Yeah, they make loads, don't they? Yeah. Like everything. Do you know what I miss? I don't know if I said it on the podcast now. And if anyone works from I miss you like fucking.
Me.
I really miss Cadbury's fuses. Do you remember them? Oh my god! I think I might have said it on the podcast, to be honest. Cadbury's fuse. It was like a block of chocolate, but inside it had like nuts, raisins, little bits of nugget. Just everything going on. It was the best bar, and I don't know why they stopped making them. They were even in celebrations at one point. You what?
Doesn't sound like my cup of tea, that.
No, they were in.
Tell you what is very underrated.
Go on.
Is fruit and nut.
Yeah, I like fruit and nut. Yeah, imagine fruit and nut though, with some little nugget in there. Do you know what I mean? It was just in a big block rather than So again, great chat with Ollie. Obviously something that Oliver touched on. Obviously, his main grievance was reviews. Obviously, at this moment in time, like I'd love to just see any kind of review for any kind of theatre show or whatever, man. I mean, I'll hold my hands up and I'll say, like, I'm not the biggest theatre goer. I think the last thing I went to see. I went to see The Book of Mormon, which is brilliant. If you can ever see it again, go and watch it. I'm not a massive theatre goer, but man, if we lose the theatres, man, that's devastating.
Yeah, it's a shame, really. I mean, I'm same as you. I'm not a massive theatre goer, but when I'm not a massive theatre goer, but when I do go, me and Charlotte always walk out and we go, we should do this more.
Same. Every time I've been, even when I've been serious plays when I was in college and that, I'd come out and I'd be like, I need to do this more. That was amazing.
Yeah, and we plan it as well. We go, right, what's on in October? We'll go do that. Then October comes round and then we just don't end up doing it. And I guess because of the accessibility that we've got in Grimsby, very limited. Obviously, if you're in London, you've got so much more options.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I mean,
something that I've never done as well. I've never done any theatre.
Yeah, I did a play years ago now, and funnily enough, not funnily enough, that's the wrong choice of words, but the theatre there where I did the play from, in Manchester, the Royal Exchange, they've just announced that they might have to start sort of letting staff go, and it's just like, I think, like this is the thing. So many other governments, so many other countries have put a lot of money into their arts. And we are a country of Shakespeare, of, amazing music. And, we
create so many great things as well.
Yeah, we're world renowned for our films and our music and our theatre and our arts. And, it'd be a shame for the government not to put some money in.
You'd like to think that that something will happen and it will be fine.
Yeah, and it's such a viable business as well, apparently. I read the other day.
I think if you go to London for the theatre, if you go and watch a show in London, you're not just paying for the theatre, you're paying for your hotels, your travel.
Exactly.
If you're going to London for a weekend to watch a show, it's 600, 800 quid a weekend.
Apparently, I read the other day, I don't know how true it is, I read it on an article, but it was saying that, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it was saying that the arts industry in the UK makes around about £1 million a minute. Do you know what I mean? So, like, it's not like it's, because a lot of people would go, oh, well, it's not, it's not an export or whatever. And it is, like, don't forget, like, we, some of the biggest
and it's a huge
films now get made here. Yeah.
Huge tourist industry.
Yeah, the West End and stuff in London and Manchester's
Broadway in America and, not just for the UK, for all over the world.
And it's this thing, isn't it? I guess I think we touched on this on an earlier podcast that obviously the doctors, the nurses, the cleaners, the people who work in the shops, they're all the frontline workers. They're all the people that deserve that clap every week. Your nursing home staff, your postman, everyone. But as well as that, when we were in that lockdown period when you couldn't really leave your house, where we were talking to Ollie, it was the actors, the musicians, the artists, do you know what I mean? The songwriters, etc., who you relied on for your Netflix, for your
entertainment, because without your without watching all your Netflix stuff, and everyone's raving about all the great things that are going on Netflix, and that was the talk of our group chats a lot of the time.
Yeah,
and I agree in what you're saying. Rightly so. People who work for the NHS and not only now, but for the past 100, 200, 300
72 years,
and the next 200, 300, 400 years, that they deserve all the gratitude they get. But I think you shared something where we was in where artists and performers was like one of the least like cared for in a way.
They reckon it was I think I can't remember what paper it was, but it was the least I can't remember the wording, but sort of useful, like that they're not that important, and like I'll hold my hands up and say, I'm not, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not a doctor, like I'm not a nurse, I'm not a,
But what you do is very important, mate.
What everyone's job, I think that's one thing that this whole experience has shown us. Everyone's job is important. When I was younger, sometimes I was ashamed to admit that my mum was a carer, and like now I'd be proud, like. Obviously, I'd be like, yeah, my mum's a fucking carer. Yeah, she wipes old people's bums for a living, but she that's an amazing job.
Yeah,
and always has been. And now, we're looking at them things a bit more, retrospectively now, and that's great. Talking of entertainment, and great guest there with Ola, amazing, and hopefully you guys will get working together soon. But just bringing it back to entertainment, a lot of people have been entertaining themselves as well by doing things like quizzes, things like that. I invited you to one. You couldn't do it in the end.
Yeah. So Andy asked me on. Was it Friday? It was Thursday, Friday.
I think
Thursday. A quiz, and we was going to do it, but I can't remember what we was doing. I think we ordered a takeaway. It never came till late. So, but yeah, we couldn't do it. But go on. What's this photo?
We made a round where let me get it up so it comes up when I'm saying it. We made a round where we can you still see me? Yeah. We put someone who was partaking in the quiz, so some of our mates,
right? Okay.
And then merged them with a celebrity. So you've got to guess who this is.
Well, they're my eyes. I recognise those beautiful eyes. And is that Stephen Mulhern?
It is. Well done, mate. Well done. Yeah. I just thought it was the funniest one that I'd done. But don't you think? Look at it.
You did that yourself. You made that yourself.
It's like an app on my
I've actually got really nice eyes.
Don't you think, though? I mean, I know it's you, and we know it's Stephen Mulhern. Well done. Someone said deck in the thing. Don't you think it looks like if Russell Crowe grew up next to a nuclear reactor? Do you get what I mean? Like
Russell Crowe was born in Chernobyl.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. Like it kind of looks like, like if Russell Crowe had a cameo in Fallout.
That's what Thomas Turgoose would look like if he had straight teeth.
If you were in Gladiator, that's what you'd look like.
Very good.
Very good. So anyway, guys, as we said earlier on, this is the second to last episode. Thank you so much for
sticking with us and listening to us. And it's been a tough series because it's been like for the first few weeks we was like, wow, this is good, we'll go.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of like reality, like life sort of started to grip a hold of us. And
I think we both got
it did get tough. I think I've struggled more with this series than I did the first series.
Yeah, I think it's fatigue because although we're being creative and although we love it and we're getting together and stuff and we're providing something for people to listen to, I think because me and you are so sociable people, it's kind of like, well, just want to get back out doing it. And I'm the same as you. Like you said to Ollie in the podcast there, like we're all three of us quite similar in the fact that like I hate sitting in and doing nothing.
Yeah,
it's the worst thing to do. So
like today, I've been swimming in the sea.
I know. I text Tomo before just for a bit of a thingy, guys. Like we're still on for tonight, and he was like, yeah, and I was like, I can do it a bit earlier if you want. And Tomo was like, I can't at the minute, mate. I'm out at sea on a paddleboard.
And this was me. Can you see that on there? Look. And in fact, see if I can play this little video there for everyone watching.
Here we go. Is that you? Hey.
Yeah.
I thought it was
That's me sending it into the sea.
Sweet. Okay, so next week, Tomo, who've we got?
We've got Adam Richman.
Adam Richman.
We've got Adam
versus
Richman,
food
who is of the Man vs. Food fame, who I met for the first time a long time ago doing Celebrity Juice, and we just become good friends. And Adam on the podcast next week talks about some very funny stories about the nights out that we've had, and I was in Bangkok in Thailand and bumped into him in the middle of Bangkok. Which was very random. So Adam's got some great stories about that, and just about talks about Soccer Raid, and he talks about all the travelling that he's done, because he's done so much travelling. He spent a lot of time in England, and as you can imagine, he talks about
big sports fan as well, isn't he?
Sorry,
I was going to say he's a big sports fan as well, which I didn't know.
Big sports fan. He's a Grimsby Town fan. If you can see that, Grimsby, Old Town.
Oh, I thought that was Newcastle.
Idiot.
Isn't it the same kit?
What?
Isn't it the same kit?
No, well, it's black and white, but this is from the season that Grimsby got promoted back into the Football League, signed.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah, but Adam's a big Grimsby Town fan. He's a Spurs fan. He's just a big sports fan. So, yeah, it was a great episode. Yeah, so I think it's a good one to end on. Yeah, and that'll be next week. So thank you very much, guys. We will be back next week. Thanks for bearing with us during the break. And yeah, we'll see you then. Cheers, mate. A little surprise for you. I've been doing these intros and outros in my pants. Woo! I'm not wearing any pants.